In this video, I'd like to discuss the BTCUSD Logarithmic Regression Bands and the possibility that they could be wrong given our correlation against DXY WM2NS. So, to start off with, let's return to our correlation where we can see in green the Brave New Coin index, which is BTCUSD, and in white we can see our DXY for the M2 stock, which is our measure of value or relative strength through time of the US dollar for its, given its money supply. So just to recap, we've got a strong correlation between price action in BTC USD against this derived metric of inherent value in the US dollar. So what I wanted to explore was we have this commonly accepted model of the logarithmic regression band on BTC. So we will take a look at that now. We'll hide our inherent USD value metric and show the upper and lower regression bands, which I've approximated here. So now that we're aware of what these regression bands look like roughly against Bitcoin, let's have a look and see how they compare with our value metric. We can see that these bands fit, but only for a portion of our USD inherent value through time. So let's consider the possibility that the underlying mechanism that drives value in Bitcoin is in fact value change within the US dollar, being the greatest trading partner for Bitcoin, as discussed in my previous videos. So to do this, let's remove our view of Bitcoin from this chart, and we'll keep our regression bands there. And instead, we'll go ahead and add some regression bands to our value metric. Alright. So we can see there's an interesting fit here where the bottom band sits pretty nicely as a touch point for the bottoms in value through time. Well, these would actually be the peaks in value through time, because on this plot I've got this scale inverted so that for a decrease in USD inherent value, we can compare that with an increase in Bitcoin. So there's a couple of different ways to draw this top line. Here's one potential way to draw the upper band for this logarithmic regression on our value metric. And now I'll share with you an alternative, which we can see here. I kind of prefer this one, and this is completely speculative. It's probably just cognitive bias that it seems to make sense with where we broke out. So looking at these regression bands, it makes me think that there could be a good deal of explanation to be had about Bitcoin's price action inside of this band for the inherent value of the US dollar. So let's bring Bitcoin back to the chart, and we will remove our regression band for Bitcoin. So let's see, how does Bitcoin sit within this regression band? Might just line up our correlation a little bit better again here. Close enough is good enough. So the first thing I notice is that we're sitting in the upper part of the regression band created from our value metric. And we don't have very many touch points for BTC, but again, we're assuming here that because USD is the primary trading partner for BTC, that it's going to have a significant influence on price action in Bitcoin, and that's why we're comparing it here with this value metric. So I suppose what I'm wondering to myself is, could this regression band for Bitcoin potentially not be valid? We've got strong correlation. Through the past, what happens if this band that we've drawn here in yellow is the fundamental true band that Bitcoin actually is confined within for its price action? And I don't think there's any explanation either way whether that could be true or false, but we can assume for the purposes of this video that it is, and this is completely speculative, mind you, to make such an assumption, but we can explore the possibility. So I think something interesting within this band is that we're still coming up to test the upper band. And for our value metric, when we have come up to test the band, we have returned to test it for value, and then we have had a sudden devaluing of the US dollar as we broke out. So that has me wondering, for Bitcoin, we spoke in the previous video about, well, in both previous videos, that it's possible that we're not seeing this, I guess, trickle into Bitcoin, all of this money that's being printed, because it's caught up in corporations that either aren't interested in allocations to Bitcoin, or it's taking a long time for them to make their allocations. So if that's the case, and we're seeing kind of this lagged response to this sudden input of M2 stock, or devaluing of the dollar, then it makes me think, could we be copying or seeing some similar behavior as to what we see here, where we would come up to test an upper portion of this regression band, corrected, and then broken through? Could we be seeing that same behavior on a lengthened time frame in Bitcoin, given the fact that we consider it's possible that this input into the, well, this rapid decrease in value in the US dollar could be taking a while to find its way into Bitcoin? So let's stretch out, if we can, just one of these. I don't think it's going to let us though. Alright, so we will copy a bars pattern, and let's place it back here on Bitcoin, and we will stretch it out. Alright, now might change the color on this. Go with purple, and let's zoom in a bit, and geez, doesn't that look an awful lot like the price action we're seeing in Bitcoin at the moment? So could we potentially come down to touch this band and realize a breakout through the upper bound of the band? It remains to be seen, and I suppose we'll know in time. Thanks for joining me for this video, and maybe I'll see you in the next one.